Starting, and we are live. Hello everybody, how are we all? So we have got a little bit of a change to the schedule plan today, I'm afraid. Poor old Horlicks, due to unforeseen circumstances, can't make it. Thankfully we had an extra guest. We actually had two guests planned, but obviously one of those guests can't come on because Horlicks isn't coming on. I do still have a co-host, but it just means that he has he's now my instructor for the night. So I give you Adrian Langley.
Hello, everyone.
So what have you been up to then, Adrian?
Me, getting my issue from the shop today.
Lovely. Now, obviously, people were commenting Saturday about Friday's show. We did do a little bit of a dry run today, didn't we, on the computer on Google? So.
Yes.
I think we're a little bit closer to success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully this Friday will be a really good show. It just seems really, really unlucky that either I cock up or I have problems or you have problems. And it's just something seems to happen on a Friday, but I think we'll get there. So what I'll do, so Adrian's going to be doing the instructions today. While Adrian gets himself ready, I will be going through the comments, if that's okay with you. So we've got first comment, Love Minnie says hi all, but I thought the first comment was from Adrian this afternoon. But so if I miss any comments, I do apologize. So we've got Adrian Langley obviously on the show, but he's on the chat. Roger Kendall says hello or good evening. Hey, Caldecott Bus Spotters, how are you? Fleetwood J says hi, Penny and Horlicks. Hi, hope everyone's okay. Obviously, you didn't know at the time Horlicks wasn't coming on. We've got Peter Whitlock says good evening, everybody. Love Minnie has I love Love Minnie. She says that I've not quite reached 500 subs yet, so make sure you share and subscribe. And then she's put, oh, you always put on a good show. And then the moment where I thought about banning Love Minis from the show because she says who is Santa's favourite singer, Elvis Presley. So that's got to be worth the ban, isn't it, Adrian? For a joke like that?
Yeah, it could be.
Fleetwood J says, best thing on Wednesday evenings, the banter, the jokes, and the innuendos in bucket loads. Roger Kendall says again, Cheryl put on a good show. Hello, Steve Graham. How are you? Kevin Pritchard. Oh, nice to see you, Kevin. Verwayne is on. Levi Otter. Hello, Steve Hyson. Dave Say. Matthew Baum. He's going to a Filipino party on the 17th of August. It's a Hawaiian theme. And then Marty McFly says, hello, everyone. Hope everyone is okay. So the issue we've got today theoretically should be exactly the same as last week. It's issue 73. As you see, I've not opened it. We kind of know what's going to happen. So I think it's going to be more about having a little bit of a build and a little bit of banter and chat as we go. And I can see that is going to be the end piece because we've got the connections there. We haven't got anything there. The last week's piece, we had the connectors there, but we had some connectors there sticking out. So this is definitely going to be the front of the bus. So we have got all we can. And is there any screw? Yeah, there's some screws in there. So, Adrian, would you like to describe to us the parts we're expecting?
Right. A is the front section of the upper deck.
Okay, so this is exactly the same as last week's. It's plastic and it's kind of finished on the top and obviously not finished underneath. It's not finished there, obviously, but it's got a lovely finish there. And there's a couple of little marks on it, but I don't think that one's definitely not going to be seen.
Yes.
Sorry, I think I've got my camera on autofocus. My computer decided to do an update this morning. So obviously I've lost all my settings. So if I get the focus point about there, so there we go, a little blemish there, but you can see from those two holes, that's going to be covered by the seat. And judging by this mark here and the hole there, I think this one will be covered. There's obviously something going to go in there, I would guess. So I'm not going to worry about that. And then we've got some screws. How many screws do we have, Adrian?
It says we've got 19 screws.
Okay, so you know me, I don't count screws anymore. There looks about 19 there. So yeah, so I'll just get my little pot out. I've had a little bit of a move around on the table now, so you'll see me going that way for screws rather than that way. But I'm slowly, I've given up on the idea of saying, oh, I've got 2 days off, I'll tidy my whole room. I think we all know that's never going to happen. So now it's just a case of, if I can make it look a little bit better than before, that's a success. So as you see that I've got all this space on my desk. I haven't got the space there, but I've got space there, look. So I'm definitely getting there. So would you like, let's have a look. Right, Holy Cotton, did I see the post? Yeah, I did see the post on Facebook, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't. Wednesday's a bit of a difficult time. I don't absorb everything I see on a Wednesday, but I saw something about they were having a go. But you got to remember, bus customers, we need them because they make our wages, but at the same time, they can be the biggest pain in butt going. They'll moan about anything, and you know, if you're 2 minutes late, you've ruined their whole life. And all you can really do is just smile at them and say thank you for your custom. It's just a little bit awkward, really, but there you go. So Adrian's busy looking for something, obviously.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Did you find it, Adrian?
Yes, thank you.
Sounded like you were having a good old rummage there.
Sorry, yes.
That's all right. Right, do you want to show us what we've got in stage one? I've not really, well, I'm going to have a little look now, but I suspect it is going to be the same as last week.
Stage one. Right, oops, I think
that is quite interesting. That's very interesting. I will explain why that's interesting in a moment. So, do you want to read it out, Adrian, or do you want me to?
I'll certainly have a go.
Have a crack. By the way, I wasn't suggesting there that Adrian couldn't read it. Sometimes people don't like reading.
Take the right-hand seat, 66B, which has
I think you might be on the wrong. Hang on, you might be on the wrong section there.
Oh yes. So I probably.
It's stage one we're at.
Oh. Yeah, fixing left-hand seat, 69A. So I read the wrong template. In
That's
pictures. Okay. In the middle of the front section for the upper deck 73A, fix in place using 2 JP screws through the floor and into the legs of the seat supports. The 69E.
Lovely. Right. So that's going to be, in my language, that's going to be the seat without the knobbly bit on it. So that's
correct.
Going to be one of these. And obviously be aware of which is the front, but these won't go in the wrong place. Yeah, that's really difficult to get that in there. So it definitely does go there. Now, the reason I said interesting is last week we fitted this front and back one first. And then when we came to fit the middle one, I said it was a little bit awkward because obviously the seats are in the way, and I would have been happy if they fitted the middle one first. Then on the next stage, they told us to fit the middle one and then the two outside, and I said, yeah, that is definitely easier. And what I noticed this week on both sides, we're fitting the middle one first. That's why I went, oh, interesting. I'm using, as I have been for many weeks, the JO end on the screwdriver. Matthew Baum's asking us what's happening on issue 77. We don't tend to look at 77 until we get to 76. But we can just, if you want to hold that question off for the end, once we've actually built, we'll be quite happy to go through it. So here comes my repetitiveness now. We're just going to pop the first screw in till it bites, and then the second one until it bites. And Adrian's very popular tonight, aren't you? Someone obviously loved you. So I'll carry on screwing those in because they seem to have gone in okay. Oops, I'm having a little bit of a click session there. Right. So that one seems a little, yeah. Okay, that one to me feels, this screw seems a little bit loose. So I'll just give it a little bit more of a screw. There we go. I've just realized actually that this floor is actually starting to curve in a little bit, which you would expect it to do towards the front. I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't show quite so much on the camera, but as I'm building it, this lip kind of shows it off a little bit.
Yes.
And again, that's got, oh, do you know what? That leg feels, I'm going to try this. I wonder if I've been playing around with screws and things during the week. So I've been changing the screwdriver head. So I wonder if maybe I'm using a different, I can't seem to get a purchase on the screws. I'm pretty sure that, I just dropped something on the floor there. I'm pretty sure that this head is too big. No, that is actually, do you know what? That's a better one, the J1 head. It looks far too big, but it's kind of wide and grabs the cross ply on the screws. Yeah, and that feels a lot better. That's really tight. Don't want to over tighten it, but it's got that screw in nice and firm. So, oh, I just realized what I dropped on the floor. As I lifted my screwdriver up, I felt something land on the floor. So I've actually lost one of my spare JP screws, but I'm really not going to worry about it because what obviously happened, I caught it with a screwdriver, and then as I got to here, it's dropped off. So stage 2, Duncan's asking me about my R2 build. That got postponed because I had big problems with the printer, and I'm now starting to make a few videos up, and I'm going to try and get a few launched as soon as I can. It will be returning, but it won't be for the next few weeks. I do apologise. And hello again to Kevin Pritchard. How are you? How's the airport, Kevin? And have you got any of our drivers going to be coming over to join you? Do you know? How you doing, Adrian?
Yeah, right. So do you want me to read the next section now?
Yeah, if it's okay, if you don't want to, you don't have to. But
my apologies. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay, Adrian. That's fine.
Right. Take the 2 assembly left seats, which would be 69B. Note these seats have fixing point for the upper poles, circled in red. Fix on the left side of the floor, 73A position, one at the front for the floor section, and the other one at the back, fixing each seat in place with 2 JP screws through the floor into the seat supports. 69A. Sorry, 69E.
Right. So basically, it's the exactly the same seat with the little red bit that will be in the middle, except that both of these have got what I'm calling the knobbly bit. So this one will go there, and this one will go there, and I don't know what that is, but that's got to go. So 3. I'm getting a massive pile of. I think they're giving us. They're not really giving us one spare screw anymore. I think they're just chucking a load. Oh, do you know what? It looks like I didn't lose that screw. I've just found a 5th one. Never mind. Right, so get the screwdriver. Oops, I can't seem to get that balanced. There we go. So we'll get the screwdriver ready, and then we'll pop that into there. So again, remember there's like a little key mechanism there. So you on holiday then, Kev? It's quite embarrassing actually, because I did a few days at Bristol Airport when I was with the agency, and Kevin Pritchard works at the airport, and I don't know if our paths have crossed, but I don't remember him if they have. Right, so they're fixed in just enough to grab. I'm happy with the position, and we'll just continue to screw them up. Mind you, I was only at the airport for about 3 days. I seem to make a good enough impression. I remember, I'll let you into a little secret. I remember that one of the bosses saying that there was one of the agency guys there that was on holiday, and they were kind of hoping he didn't return. And then unfortunately he did come back from holiday. So, but I had another job lined up, and that one seems to have gone in quite straight. I'm happy with the way that the pegs don't go by this, go by this, by the legs underneath. So oh, Matthew Bourne has issues 6 to 10. I almost wish I could kind of go back in time and restart this, because every issue so far has been like, wow, well, just about every issue has been, oh, I wonder. But I don't know if I'd want to go back to issue 6 to 10, knowing what's coming up in the next issues. You know, I quite like going down to the newsagents and going, oh, I wonder what it's going to be. And, oh, that looks like a really small issue. And, wow, look at the size of that. So, right, so we've got that first one in enough to bite. And second 2 screws, or second screw, sorry. That's gone in. That seems to have gone in a little bit funny, so I'm just going to keep an eye on that. So we'll start to tighten these up. And this one. There we go. I'm happy with that. What do you think, Adrian?
That's perfect.
They are a little bit skew with, especially that middle one. But as I keep saying over and over, we know that we can adjust that once we get the side in.
That looks like mine.
Yeah, I think most people's are like that. Some people have said it's the way that they're being screwed in. Maybe I've just slightly caught one of the pegs and twisted it. I really don't know. I don't understand the science of screwing bits of plastic in, but I know that we can adjust that. There's like little runners on the side where these little tabs will go in. So everything will be okay in the end. So do you want to show us stage 3?
Yep.
Which is essentially going to be the same as stage 1, isn't it?
Yes. Right, looks like we're doing the center one again, but this one's got the upper ceiling support pole
Yeah. So of the three seats we've only got the one with a centre pole left, and the two remaining seats will be the ones without, which makes sense because we know the poles are going in alternate zigzag.
Certainly, yes.
So that's good. So that's another little check we can do. So basically, we're just going to screw that in with JP screws, are we?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't. I did not read all the full text. I do apologise.
No, it's fine. So it's basically it is the same as issue 1, but we're on the other side of the bus, and we're using one with a knobbly bit instead of one without. And that's basically, yeah, okay, no problems. So I'll get a couple of JP screws ready, and I'll load the first one up. I haven't been using my other screwdriver yet. I've put that away, and I'm going to keep it safe. Hello, James. You're doing very well. Is that almost a record for you? Is it, James? Only 20 minutes late? Right. So I'll pop this first screw in, just enough to bite. So then that will just give us the opportunity just to line that seat up again. To be honest with you, James, we were late as well because we were having a bit of a natter at the start of the show and we just totally lost track of time. So I think we were about 2 minutes late, Adrian?
About that, yes.
For some reason, I've struggled to get that one in. I think it's maybe I wasn't quite holding it right, but it's gone in the end. So I'll just turn these slowly. I think you did make it on time once, didn't you, James? And everyone fainted and fell over. Bless him. Won't have a bad word said about James. Okay, so I'm happy with that one. What do you think, Adrian?
That looks perfect to me.
Lovely. Right, so I'll just get straight in with the last two then, shall I? There's only 2 places they can go. We've already been doing our double checks as we've been going, so we know we've got the correct seats here, and we are well practiced with screwing these JP screws in. Yeah,
that's correct.
So what changes have we had in the airport? I know they had some. They briefly told me the changes, and I know they were advertising for staff as well because some of our drivers were interested in the airport. Not sure if it would have interested me. The main thing about the airport, Kevin, is the travel every day. I really enjoy only being 10 minutes from work, and that makes a massive difference for me. Right, I'm just going to hold that seat in place. We'll pop the first screw in, just enough to bite. That's lovely. Oops. Keep that seat out of the way. So what's everybody else been up to then the last week or so? Right, so they're both in place, and then we'll just tighten those up just to stop that moving around. I've got to be careful here because as my screwdriver rolls, it picks those screws up. Right, I think that screw can do with just about another quarter of a turn. You really don't need a lot of turning to make that tight. You know, actually, that's not. You know what? That still isn't tight. There we go. That's a lot better. It's not quite there, but it doesn't seem to want to go. I'm not going to overly bother with this because actually that might have done it. Yeah, oh, that's a lot better. I just hadn't screwed that up enough. It was this screw there, and it was just I hadn't quite turned it enough. I think I'm really frightened of over tightening these, so I'm not screwing them in hard enough rather than too much. But that's fine. But if you notice, I just did little small turns until I got there. So obviously keep rotating the part so that it's in a position that you're more comfortable with. And oh, I've lost it now. I wonder if there's some way we can temporarily fasten this down, like masking tape or something. I think that might be a little bit too much faff, but yeah, fighter sweep. It's been a few people have been reporting problems with the battery box. I've had I kind of felt I'd failed a bit when I did when mine broke. I think I just caught mine a little bit, and then lots of other people started reporting problems, and I haven't done anything with mine because I decided I'm going to fix my wire when I actually fit it, because if I fix it and then catch it again, it's going to need fixing again, and then I might catch it again. So I'm just going to wait till I actually fit it to the bus, and then I'll fix it. But yeah, it's obviously is a weak part because lots of people. You're not the only one who's had a broken one. Right, so those seat pegs look great. I'm really happy with that. Look at that. What do you think, Adrian?
Yes, that's perfect.
Brilliant. Right, so we just need stage, I think it's 5. So while you're reading that out, I'll just get the rest of the top deck.
Oh, wrong page. Next page. Oops, too far.
I do that, Adrian.
Right. Here's my ones.
Lovely. You just want to test that camera angle out, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. We were talking about camera angles before the show. Okay, so basically what we're going to be doing is I've got last week's piece, and when you handle this, hold both sides because it is very weak along that joint there. And if you remember last week, we did the check. We made sure all the red bits are in the middle, and we made sure all the knobbly bits are going alternate sides. So obviously what we want to do this week is we want to make sure that pattern follows. Obviously, if you follow the instructions carefully this week, there's absolutely no reason for there to be a problem. And as you can see, the pattern does follow. Okay, so not sure how I'm going to handle this because it's getting a little bit large and flexible. I think there's 7 there, isn't there? There's 6 there. So I think once we get 2 screws in, it'll really start to pull this floor in. So, and I'm finding they have to go in quite a way, just making the screwdriver do most of the work. So that's gone in until it's gone as tight as it can. These ones are a little bit more awkward because you're having to pop your fingers in between the seats. I don't want to snap the seats off. So while I'm down there, I'll just do this one as well. Slightly awkward. I can see this is a good family build for this issue. You can have, like, if your grandson is helping you, maybe they can just support the back of the bus for you while you screw them in. But it's
Or the other way
easily,
around.
or the other way around, yeah. Because also, I suppose if you slip with a screwdriver and you scratch the plastic, it won't matter because this bit won't be seen. But it's easily done on your own, but certainly easy if you had another little pair of fingers helping. So, and I think this is a great build in that sense, that there's so many areas where, you know, your little boy or your little grandson can help. All right, there we go. I'm happy with that. So what I'll do is I'll carefully turn this over. Now I'm a little bit surprised here. That seems a slight bit more secure than last week, but can you see where my hands are in relation to the joints? That's where I would be holding this right now. So if anybody does any waiting or waitressing, when you hold a tray, you hold it with your hand wide open. That's how I'm holding it like that. So, oh, you keep losing me, do you? Are you hearing me now? 1, 2, 3. Right, can you hear me now, guys? Adrian?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, lovely. No, I think you might have lost me for a bit. So I wonder if the mic just went. So I'll go through all that again. I don't know how much you caught and how much you missed. It feels slightly more secure with the extra panel in, but what I'm doing is I'm holding it with my hand wide open, right where the join is. So obviously I can't flip this over, but my hands are like this to hold as much, and that's how I would hold it. And obviously once we place that on the bus, then obviously that will become more secure. But I believe, have you got the picture of next week?
Yes.
So I tell you what, that looks absolutely amazing.
Well, that's the finished view.
Oh yeah, the finished view. That looks absolutely amazing. It looks really long now.
Yes.
It's a little bit of an optical illusion because there's so much going on. Whereas the bottom deck, you have like a section where the cab is and a section where the rear platform is. This actually feels like it's longer than the bus. I know it's not. But yeah, that is what I've. So, but yeah, I mean, look how long it is. I mean, that is the length of the bus, but it just feels longer. So what I'll do is I will gently position that on top of my bus. Then we'll get dizzy cam, and then it'll give us a rough idea of where it is. So it doesn't look fantastic because it's balanced. Trevor Rodway's just fitted the seats to the largest sidewall, 49B. I've noticed one of the screw lugs is broken. If it's, you mean the lugs on the side of the seat, do you? I think you'll be able to, because there's two, it's held in with two lugs. But the question really is, well, two questions. One is it broken through your own fault or did it arrive broken? And if you got a replacement from Hachette or someone, can you wait that long? Because it could be a couple of weeks. Let me just get dizzy cam. Don't know how well you can see that, but can you see it? Just a bit of an optical illusion. It doesn't make the bus any longer, but it seems to be a little bit longer with those seats hanging over. But that seat that hangs over the front, to me, that is the most important seat on the bus, because that's where I, as a 6-year-old, used to run up and I got to sit there, and you'd get on the bus, and if someone's already sat there, you'd be so disappointed, wouldn't you? Someone's got my seat.
Yes.
So, Adrian, do you want to pull up next week? Because I believe next week is rather exciting looking.
Yep.
Have you been having a practice build as I've been building mine?
Of course.
Because obviously we mentioned before that obviously once every 4 weeks we're going to be I'm not going to be able to host the show, so Adrian's going to be filling in for me. Right, so the words say a framework for the lower deck ceiling is fitted to the underside of the top deck, and obviously being a subscriber, I don't want to give spoilers, but that is a magnificent piece, and that is going to add so much strength. So that's going to be 74. Do you think it's going to be safe to assume that issue 75 will be the same as 74, and in that there'll be another piece of framework? I think that's a fair assumption, isn't it?
Yes, maybe,
because that looks like it covers half of the bottom deck. So it's done what I call like the Lego brick principle. When you do Lego bricks, they always overlap, just like a brick wall. So you've got these two cuts in where the bottom deck is 3 pieces. You've got these 2 weak parts where the parts join. So the next piece that goes underneath will go across those joins. So there'll be a join in the middle with the metal piece, but then that's supported slightly by the solid piece of top, if any of that makes sense. So
yeah,
we can assume the next 2 weeks is going to be metal framework. So that will take us up to issue 76. And I'm tempted to say that it's going to be a figure, because I can't think of anything else that it could be. I think we're overdue a figure, aren't we? In the sense that they used to give us a figure every 7 weeks. So
yes.
do you
But
think
next week's issue was meant to be a figure?
Yeah, which then brings us to issue 77, which I think someone mentioned. That's 74, 74. Yeah, so that'll take us to issue 77, which I really have no idea. Oh, Paul, you don't put your bananas in the fridge, do you? If you put bananas in the fridge, it makes them go black. You shouldn't do that. You should hang them at room temperature. You naughty, naughty man. So, guys, have you got any ideas what's coming up the next few? If you want to play the spoiler game, or the we don't call it the spoiler game, do we? We call it the speculation game. So,
but when we go and get an extra piece of wire in 75?
Is it 75 we're getting that?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Right, so it is the top lug of the side wall. That's why I would sooner repair it. Right, so you're probably not going to see it, Trevor. In that case, I would... Oh, driver's cab roof, of course. Of course, yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think... Oh, hang on. Did I hear something about electronics? Oh, I might have been thinking about another magazine. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I saw or heard somewhere about fitting the electronics. I don't know. Maybe I made that. Maybe I had a dream. I don't know. Yeah. So, Trevor, when you're fixing that side bit, make sure it's ready to put in. and I would just screw, because you will screw it into place into the side wall. One of the things that I said, I'm doing this from memory when I did the bottom deck, was that I personally would have screwed the screws into the side wall and then screw them underneath once you get the once you put the walls on, then screw the screws in underneath, because I found it quite awkward getting the screwdriver in from an angle. The reason I've screwed these ones in is because I really have no idea what's coming next. So with the top deck, it might be easier to screw them into the floor. So yeah, the extension is coming in 76, which is 3 more weeks away. So that will be good. So now obviously issue 76, the electronics or the extra wire, I don't think that was planned, was it? That wasn't part of the magazine. So I think that will come with the magazine, but it won't be listed in the magazine as a part. I think they're just, it's my guess that they've gone, right, we've got this problem, let's get on to our manufacturers. The manufacturers have said, right, we can make this part for you, but it will be available in 8, 10, 12, for however many weeks. So and then obviously we're expecting a shipment of 4 weeks. So they've worked out how long it will take to get it ready. And that's why and I think there'll be some poor boys going to have to sit there and put a wire into every single magazine. So, so yeah, I think we will just get a wire. For those of you that did the DeLorean, didn't you get like a replacement steering wheel rod? And everyone was like, well, what's this for? It looks like a steering wheel rod, but I've got no idea what it's for. So that's going to be interesting.
I reckon Hachette will actually give you a pamphlet.
Right. Well, we've already had a pamphlet saying that we're going to get it. Yeah, it was mentioned, but I think we're like, if it's like this magazine, this one, for example, you see there's only an A and a B. I think we would receive 3 pieces, or, you know, how many pieces plus 1. And then we can just plug that in. And like Adrian says, I think we'll have a little slip of paper and it'll say, we're ever so sorry, the lead is too short. Here is your lead. And then there might be a like 1-stage black and white instruction on how to fit it. Shouldn't need to tell us how to fit the wire, but you know, they probably should, shouldn't they? So, right, has anybody got anything to talk about? And have you, Adrian?
I don't think so. Whatever else needs to talk about?
Right, well, first start, there's your build, isn't there? So all the usual questions. How are you finding your build? Have you at any point gone, oh, I can't stand this, I'm chucking it in the bin?
So far, no.
As I know, there's obviously 29 for me. I mentioned 29 a lot, but that is the issue when I could quite happily have said, right, time to walk away. But at the same time, it's probably the best issue I've had as far as I'm concerned. So so how are you finding it? I mean, and actually, what came brought you? Dave say is around somewhere, Paul. He might be doing other things as well, because you know Dave, he's a very busy man. So yeah, what's your what got you into the build, Adrian, and what's your general thoughts?
I like buses basically, and while I was watching you start doing it, I thought, right, okay, I'll get it.
Oh, that's really nice. So I'm having to play with my hair because I jumped in the shower just before the stream, and I've got like this softening conditioner, and it kind of makes my hair feel, so I can't help playing with it. I apologize for that. So you did a bit of a catch up. Oh, that's right. If I remember rightly, you started a subscription from, if I remember rightly, you start the subscription from issue 1, but also bought them from the newsagents, and then you stopped your subscription.
No, actually, I had 2 subscriptions from Hachette.
Right.
Then I started buying one from the shop. And later date, when one of them caught up, I cancelled that subscription.
Right. Okay.
So at the moment, I buy one from the shop, I get a subscription as well.
Right. Okay. So you're getting 2 issues at the moment, are you?
Yes.
Right. Steve Lee is saying how many figures will go on the lower deck. What do you think, Adrian?
How many had so far? At least one of them will go on the top deck. Probably all.
Four figures, but one has to go on the. Well, in my opinion, one has to go on the top deck.
Yes.
I think you've now got to have the football fan on the bottom deck with Twiggy, because I think he'll be eyeing up Twiggy, maybe thinking about asking her out on a date. We've got the old lady looking on in disapproval, and then you've got the city gent has to go upstairs because he's smoking his pipe. I would say there would be roughly the same number of figures upstairs as downstairs, maybe one different, maybe 4 on one deck, 3 on the other, and then in addition we have to have a conductor. We believe we're getting a female conductor, don't we? And obviously it'll be a male driver because they were all sexist pigs in the 60s, weren't they? I'll get trouble for that, Mark. So yeah, women are good enough to be conductors, but not good enough to drive. So except for that episode on the buses. Do you remember that one?
Right. I just went searching through the pamphlet information.
Yeah.
And I have found the document, yeah. Extension cable will come in issue 75. So I reckon we might be doing some wiring in issue 75.
I'm convinced that we're doing whatever we're doing in 75, and then that cable is coming extra.
You could be doing some testing in 75.
Could be. Yeah, Paul. I'll be honest with you, Paul. Paul's saying about the figures. He's not going to be putting the figures on the buses, and they should have been an opt-out option. Maybe you're right. From a business point of view, then it makes sense for Hachette to dot the figures around the magazines, because if you like with the DeLorean, they're doing the extension at the end, and that gives people the opportunity to cancel the build. They've still got the DeLorean, but what they're cancelling is the railway track. And if they put all the figures at the end of the build, that gives us the opportunity to cancel and not have the figures, which means Hachette makes less money. From a customer service point of view, it would be better to have them all at the end. But I've got to be absolutely honest with you. I don't mind admitting I grumbled and moaned at the figures when they first come out, but every week they grow on me, and I think they add a story to the bus. For me, this bus isn't just a bus. I've said some of the routes that I've driven before. There was one in St Albans, and I said I did the same duty every day, so I picked up the same people. And I always used to say to them, this isn't a bus route, this is a community centre on wheels. And I feel that the figures are doing that to the bus. We've got this lady, and we've written stories about her. This guy probably needs less imagination than others. We've got the football fan, so we can now date the bus to around June 66. So now you know, even the people that aren't. Maybe this lady here, because of the presence of the football, so we know it's round about the World Cup stage. So maybe this lady was really excited. Oh, we're in the World Cup final and we can beat Germany, you know. So you can see that we're adding so much story to the bus. Yeah, Fleetwood says that. And if you've seen Fleetwood J's wonderful video, he's added backstories to all of his figures, and I think his bus is the most exciting. It's the actual bus probably isn't any different to mine or Horlicks or Dave Says, but because he's added the backstory to the figures, I want to get on his bus. I want to be a passenger on it. So yeah, if you'd asked me back weeks and weeks ago, I'd have said no, I don't want the figures. But now I'm actually looking forward to the next one. I wonder what we're getting. I can't think. So
Yes.
maybe they'll give us a conductor, or maybe they'll give us a driver, because if we're going to be doing no, that makes a lot of sense. Issue 73 is going to be the framework. Issue 74 is going to be the front bit of the framework. And then I said maybe we'll get a figure, and then somebody else has said maybe we'll get, after that we'll get the roof of the cab. So maybe the figure that we will get in issue 75 would be the driver, so we can get that driver in there, and then we can enclose it with the cab roof. And then issue 76, we can start to put the top deck on. Ta-da! How's that? Solve the mystery of the so you don't need to subscribe to next month's issues. We've already figured out what they are.
Yes.
Can anyone come up with anything better than that? Does that work for you guys? I think we're getting the driver. So I'm building myself up now. So if issue 75 we do, they'll probably give us this lovely piece of bodywork, and I'll go, oh, I'm really disappointed now because I really wanted a figure. How's that? That'll be a complete turn, won't it? I should have been a DCI. Do you know what? Yeah. No, this is where we have fun. We speculate. We come up with some really sensible speculation, and then Hachette just goes, nope, we're going this way instead. So, and I reckon driver's door. The driver's door. Surely that's going to have to come before the cab, because the driver's door needs to slide, doesn't it? And then the roof. So maybe we'll do 2 or 3 weeks on the driver's cab. So yeah, no, I think it's great. So what do you think, Dave? You're usually quite good at speculation, aren't we? We miss Horlicks for this, don't we? Horlicks is Mr. Speculation. So yeah, no, it's exciting times ahead. Sherlock Penny. Hang on. I was actually going through my ringtones with Adrian just before we start, and there's one ringtone I didn't play him. So bear with me. So, what other show do you know where you get sound effects? That was the Sherlock theme, by the way. The new Sherlock, not the old ones.
The old violin, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I did love that. A friend got me into that. She we did this years and years. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. I did a live-in care course, and there was about 5 or 6 of us that really bonded, because they had 2 big bedrooms, one for the boys and one for the girls. And it was quite funny because one of the boys he came in the room with us, and he got in serious trouble, and he actually got threatened with being kicked off the course, because no one told us that the men and the women can't share a bedroom. And you know, we're all adults, and the big room had an ensuite bathroom. So what we did was we kicked him out of the room, you know, or maybe he'd go and have a shower, and then we'd all change into our nightwear. and then he would go into the bath. But other than that, we couldn't see a problem. But anyway, so we were obviously all bonding every day. But the Sunday night, one girl, she's like, or one woman actually, she's like, sorry, I'm going to have to leave you because Sherlock's on. And I think it was like season 2, maybe season 3. And the way she was going on about it, it sounded a really interesting program. So I went on to BBC iPlayer and I started watching it from season 1, and just got absolutely hooked on it. So that's one of my favorite programs now. But I don't think there's going to be any more, is there? So Paul's actually stopped building for the time being, but I'll get back to it in the future. So are you a bit more of a binge builder? You sort of wait, because you get a lot of people like that, don't you? They'll collect up a few issues. I've been on some forums, and there's people that have collected the entire part work and haven't even opened issue 1. Personally, I can't see how you can do that, but I just want to build every week. But you know, horses for courses. So cab door and over cab 76, 77, 78. So 5. So you don't think a figure will come into there then, Dave? Say, Steve, I got a message from Horlicks. He says due to personal circumstances, he's not able to make the show, and you know, it could be anything. I think he's fine, because obviously, like, if he was in hospital or something, I suspect he would just not turn up for the show. So the fact he's able to send me a message to say, oh, I've got a few problems, I think he's absolutely fine. Chris, no, we've missed you, Chris, more than you missed us, because we've had no innuendos or any bad jokes or anything. So yeah, we missed you more than you missed us by looks of it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll watch this show. He knows we'll all miss him, and we all love him. And obviously, we're very disappointed that we weren't going to get the furry lady on today. So, but hopefully, we'll get to see her next week when she'll be much bigger than she, because you know puppies grow so big, don't they? So yeah, I'm getting really excited now. Like I say, I just feel odd that I'm looking forward to the next figure, which, in stark contrast to before, I think I was actually on stream going, oh, I hate this. This is awful. Oh, a figure. And I know there's a guy at work collects it, and he doesn't want the figures. He's like, oh, I'm building the Routemaster, not building the doll's house. He goes, and then he's funny. He's just one of these guys. Well, he's a typical mechanic. He's very raw when he's angry, and he's yeah. So do you know, I can't think of much to talk about. So
that's okay, Chris.
I've been busy with my 3D print, so I've been building another rack. I'll just move over to Dizzy Cam. I don't know if you remembered, I used to have this rack with the drawers. I've now built an extra layer, and but I had a screw issue. These are put together with little 10mm M3 screws, but this bit here, because it's double length, the screws aren't fitting. So, and I couldn't remember what screw size I wanted. So as you can see, I've ordered, if you can see them, I've ordered all different sizes. So but screws, to be honest with you, are quite cheap. So it doesn't really hurt. I mean, this one, I've got these little slidey tops. There's 100 screws in there. Sorry, I can't get the focus in. But, you know, there's 100 screws in there. And, you know, when you start building these 3D projects, you always end up with, oh, you will need a screw of this bit. So it's always handy just to have the screws lying around. So what next thing I need is loads of nuts. So Yeah, that one's been building up. Oh, let me show you the rest of it. So I've got, this is something I made a couple of months ago, and that's just a framework just to put my variable power supply in. And then the multimeter fits into there nicely. Next to that is my welding, my soldering thing. And then next to that, I'm probably going to keep this for a while. This works really well for me, but I do want to incorporate the lovely trays that I got. And what I thought I'll do is I'll make another one of these to go around this solder iron. So that'll come across like that, and then maybe I can put my screwdriver onto there, and then at about this level I can extend the shelf out, so then that'll make use. But I can't build it up too much because you see it's starting to block the laptop. So I don't know, maybe I'll put this that way. That'll be better, won't it, if I put the screwdriver that way? So when am I starting the R2? I'm gonna be starting filming. I've got one video that I can release that's ready to go, and I'm just what I'm actually doing at the moment. I'm test fitting the second ring, but I'm finding that there's a reprint I will need to do. I don't know if you can see it, but the coin return's there. I've reprinted that because it's now got a an opening flap. But I'm making sure all the top rings are there, and then next time I get a 4-day weekend, once I've got all of the second ring complete, I think I might be able to film about 8 to 10 episodes in my 4-day weekend. And then that way I'll have 10 videos, and then I'll get those going. And then the time that I'm not having to spend so much on video on the R2, I can then get the train going again. I've got a problem with my Millennium Falcon. I might just work around it. I think I've lost two pieces, but they're external details. So I don't know whether to. I'll probably give the game away because there's probably someone from Model Space watching all my great videos. I'm missing two pieces, and I think I've lost them, and I don't know whether to ring. I very rarely have a problem with Model Space, and they deal with things so quickly. And I think when I ring up and say I've got a problem, they believe me because I'm not always on the phone to them. So I think if I rung them up and said, "Oh, I've broken this part," I think they'd send replacements out. But at the same time, I want to be honest and say, if I ring them up and say that I've lost these parts, can I buy a replacement issue? I got a feeling they'd probably say, "Oh, we'll just send you some parts out." But what happens if they can't send out a single issue? That's the problem I've got. So, right, just go back and catch up. Paul, your comment about the Labour Party, is that a genuine question or is that a joke? Because I'd rather not bring politics and religion into the stream. I always think that chat shows and streams where they have a rule with no politics and religion, they tend to just flow a little bit better. But obviously, if it's a joke, then we're listening. So Steve Lee's off to work. So you have a great day, Steve. Chris Campbelling, Horlicks is got unforeseen personal issues, so he can't make it this week. Things like that happen. So yeah, Chris, you said you had a Terminator part and Adrian sent it to you. Yeah, when we got lovely people like Adrian who buys 400 issues and sends them out to people, no, he's good like that. That's useful. But unfortunately, with my Millennium, it's an old partwork. So, but we'll see. Yeah, let's say Horlicks is having some personal time. So yeah, that's it really. So how are you getting on, Chris? Is life treating you well? I've really not been able to catch you the last couple of weeks. I started the new rota this week at work, and I've started with 2 lates. And I've got to be honest with you, late weeks are quite disappointing, because I've gone onto the spare rota to do extra hours, because some of those are long days, and I've started on the rota on a couple of lates. And the problem with lates is that there's only so long you can work, because after 11:30, 12 o'clock, there's no more buses running, so there's nothing to cover. So started work at 3 o'clock on Sunday. I was home by 10:30, so that was a basic 7.5 hour day. And then Monday, no one wanted the staff bus, and I think I actually covered the last bus into. Oh, I think the last bus into depot is a Cardiff, but other than the Cardiff, I think I was the last bus. So I only got like 8.5, 9.5 hours for that. So it's not like I'm really racking the hours. But tomorrow I start on 6:30 spare for a week, and I might be doing 12, 13-hour days, and we are having a real staff crisis at the moment. We've had a lot of drivers leave. We've had a few been sacked. So yeah, they're a little bit desperate for drivers, and I think I'll be doing school runs tomorrow morning. But then in 2 weeks' time, the school holidays will be with us, and then we won't be as short for drivers. And then if they can recruit new drivers over the school summer holidays, we'll go into September in a good position. But what's happening with the company at the moment is nothing unusual. Once or twice a year, we have a bit of a staff crisis. People think, well, you know what it's like with buses. It's the grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? So people think, oh, I'm going to go to a different company, and give it 6 months. Some of those will come back when they realise that it's not greener on the other side. So yeah, things will sort out. But when we have less staff at work, because I'm now on. Hello, Cheryl. How are you? Is it Cheryl or Cheryl? But yeah, obviously, staff crisis means that I get more hours, which means I get more money. So, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. Less work means I go home early, so I get more free time, but then I earn less money. Staff crisis means more hours, more money, but less time to spend it in. So, Chris says Thursday, Friday, and next Monday. Oh, you were streaming extra, are you, Chris? I think I missed a comment earlier on. I remember someone saying, oh, yeah, Caldecott. Yeah, absolutely no problems about last night. I'm all about sticking up for what I think is right. We had a bit of an incident on Facebook. We had some of the buses have got Poppy Day posters on the back of the buses, and where they'd been there for so long, they got all tatty, and some people had said that's disrespectful. You know, it's if you're going to have something, you know, like lest we forget, and it's all tatty and torn, you're better off without it. So myself included, some people spent an awful lot of time ripping those off the back, and Newport's now got traffic wardens. We've not had traffic wardens for a long time. Parking was all controlled by the police force, and the police have got bigger things to worry about than parking. So they've now introduced, what do they call them now? Parking assistants, parking attendants.
Something like that.
Yeah, because there was no real parking checking, people were parking on double yellow lines left, right, and centre. And now, obviously, they're having a big clamp down on it. The number of times I got stuck in the city centre because cars have been parked on the high street. I showed you guys a picture once of someone parked on a corner, and And oh, it's brilliant. It's almost, some areas of Newport, it's almost like a ghost town now where there's nothing parked. And the bus has picked up on it, or the bus company's picked up on it quite sensibly, I think. They're doing promotional posters saying, you know, get the bus or get a parking ticket. Caldecott had commented on how nice it looked. But there's one guy, you get it on every single Facebook group. You just get someone who's just going to argue and troll over absolutely anything. But this one particular guy, I just thought he was especially nasty, and I shouldn't really have got involved, but I can't help it. Cheryl's asking me for a room tour. May I politely decline? The reason being is it's such a mess. I've been picking at little areas. So the desk is a little bit more organized. The floor is still an absolute bomb site. But where I'm having problems is things like, for example, my Dremel drill. I don't use that all the time. So what's that? Today my son asked, can I have a bookmark? But I burst into tears. 11 years old and he still doesn't know my name is Brian. Lovely. Yeah, I like that. That you have been redeemed, Love Minis, for the last joke. Yeah, so I'm thinking things like my Dremel, maybe if I put those, I kind of, where is it? I've got a leaflet. This is something absolutely wonderful. I don't think I'll ever, I can't find it now. This is where I've been tidying up when I lose things. Maybe I put it up here. I got a leaflet for something called a makerspace. And it's basically, it's a trolley with lots of little tubs and trays and things on. And it's absolutely amazing. It's got a little bit of pedal, R2's off again. It's got a little bit of pegboard on the back. And it's just absolutely perfect. And I kind of looked at it again and I thought, well, what? And I thought, well, it's good because it's got like a tray there. And I've got, have you seen those cheap drawers you can buy from places like Wilko? They're just plastic drawers. And I've got a set of 4 of them. And I put them on the shelf because they don't fit under the table. And I kind of looked at it and I thought, if I take one of the drawers out to make it into a 3, it'll fit under the table. So I thought, if I push it in the middle under this table, I've then got drawers then for things like things that I use that I want within arm's reach if I want them, but put them away because I don't use them every day. So things like the Dremel drill, the glue gun, you know, things like that, where I'm not my solder iron and then my screwdriver and the screws, I tend to use those every day, so I want them on the desk. So, and I've completely shut you out of the stream, haven't I, Adrian?
No, that's fine.
So, but yeah, no, I'm getting there, and I've just bought 3. Well, they're under bed, like boxers, 3 for £8. I thought I can't argue with that. And then I'm kind of looking because my bed is right on the floor, and I wondered about maybe if I could get. How do you make holy water? You boil the hell. I like that. You boil the hell out of it. You have to forgive me. I did an Amazon pantry order yesterday. Oh, this is the funny story I was going to say. I got home Monday night, and I'm after root beer, and I just looked for it on Amazon. I found it on Amazon Pantry, and it was quite reasonably priced. But to make Amazon Pantry worthwhile, you got to order about 45 quid because you got postage and this, that, and the other. And then they had things like Coca-Cola energy drink. And Coca-Cola energy drink, I wanted to try it, but I didn't really want to pay like that price for it. So I made this order, and when I ordered it, it said delivery tomorrow. So I thought, oh, lovely. So I sat in all day yesterday waiting for Amazon. Well, I did a bit of route learning, but basically I was expecting this parcel to come yesterday, and it never came. And I looked on the Amazon orders, and it still said coming tomorrow. It wasn't until about 6, 7 o'clock in the evening that I realised I'd made the order just after midnight. So it was Tuesday. Technically, it was Tuesday I placed the order, which is why it was saying tomorrow, meaning Wednesday. But it arrived today, so I've been a bit naughty. I got me root beers. This one I'm not so keen on. Bundaberg. It's actually an alcoholic root beer, and I think the alcoholic sort of makes it a bit beery. But this way, oh, where's that other one? This I've never heard of, but that's actually really good. But I'm still looking for my R&W root beer. That is my favourite in the whole wide world, but it's so expensive because it's an American product, so it has to be imported. So it's about £2 a can, but this stuff works out about less than £1 a bottle, I think. So, but I bought Nutri-Grain bars, box of 24. Look, yeah, Tesco sells root beer, but it's not R&W's. And Asda do a British root beer, which is, it satisfies the craving for root beer. Oh, A&W. Did I say R&W? And it's something like that. Yeah. The one that you get from Asda, it's a bit of a wishy-washy root beer, but it just I'm gonna speak very controversially here. The Asda root beer is like a heroin addict taking methadone. It takes the edge off. It satisfies the cravings, but it's not the real stuff. I know that's really controversial the way I said that, but that's the best way I could think of saying it. So what else did I get? Oh, I got these. I'm not on a diet, but I just looked at them, and they're little, and they are absolutely amazing. But this is Adrian. I said this to you earlier on, didn't I? Root beer floats. You can't beat them, can you? So this is a 90-calorie chocolate bar, and I found out part of the reason why it's only 90 calories. Look at the size of the packet. This is classic marketing. So you look at that packet, you think, oh, lovely. That's a big chocolate bar, you know, and that's how big it is. So yeah, the reason it's not many calories is because you only get half biscuit. And the other funny thing that happened to me today, I got a letter from people in the UK. You now have compulsory, well, you can sign out of it, but you have this workplace pension. I think it's called the People's Pension. I got a letter today to tell me that they're going paperless, which I found amusing. Writing a letter to tell me that they're not going to be writing letters anymore. So, yeah, McDonald's root beer. Yeah, why did they ever stop doing that? Was it not that popular? Because I loved it. But yeah, no problems, Chris. The thing is, with root beer, you either love it or you absolutely hate it. And remember when I opened that root beer this afternoon, Adrian, and I said, oh, yeah, that's got the smell of Collins Elixir. And a lot of people don't like it because it tastes of cough medicine. That's usually the most common comment. But I like it because it tastes like cough medicine. Is that wrong? So
different people have different flavors.
Yeah, I used to love cough medicine though, but it's the sarsaparilla flavor. But yeah, McDonald's, yeah, but that's both of these. Now, what's interesting is that this is a British made one, and this has got sarsaparilla flavoring in it, whereas this one, which is an Australian one, it's got sarsaparilla root in it. But I'm not so keen on it because it does taste beery. It's only 0.5% alcohol. Yeah, McDonald's root beer, I miss it. We used to call it mouthwash. That's another thing people call it. But yeah, no, I love it. So I'll be. But oh, what was funny was I've got all these food items. I've got these as well, and these are one of my new favorites. I'm doing really bad for chocolates. I also did. I bought 15 quid's worth of food of sweets from the sweet shop on Saturday, and Dave TCP. Yeah, I've only just finally finished eating them, but the milk bottles were absolutely amazing. Currently enjoying a bottle of Adnams Broadside. I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I've tried it. But I do like the proper ales. One of my guilty pleasures is banana beer. And call me boring, I do like that Doom Bar as well. But the most interesting drink I've ever had was a drink called rum cider. Now, I got it at a bike rally. Now, where I come from in Norfolk, the word rum means odd or strange, as in, oh, that's a rumman. So when I tasted this cider, it's got a bit of an odd flavour to it. So I thought, oh, rum cider, it's got a bit of an odd flavour to it. Wasn't until I drank half a pint of cider and could hardly walk that someone told me it's called rum cider because it's got the alcoholic percentage of rum. It's about 15-20%. It's really, really strong. And that's why it's called rum. And that is, you drink half a pint or a pint of that on a hot summer's day, it does hit you. So, but I'd like to find out who made that so I can buy some more. Right, guys, I'm going to be a bit naughty and look at finishing the stream early. Well, earlier than normal. I don't think we have a huge amount to talk about now, do we? The bus is going well. If anybody wants to ask questions, normally people do start asking. As soon as I say, "Oh, let's finish the stream," 4 people will ask questions, and then that'll keep the stream going, won't it?
Yes.
If anybody wants to know what this Coca-Cola energy tastes like, I won't be buying it again. I'm drinking it because I've got it. But I would say if you poured in 3/4 Coca-Cola and 1/4 Red Bull, that's roughly what it's going to taste like. It's Coke, but it's got a bit of a Red Bull flavor to it. So it's not really my thing. But saying that, I got it for free. It was if you spend so much money, you get a free energy drink. So, do we need you all? Yes, definitely. Next week is issue 74, which is, I'll have to get my calculator out. It's not a case of we need you. It's we would love to have you on the show if we could. So yeah, that divides down to 18.5. So we would absolutely love to have you on the show, Fleetwood, if you can make it. And then we'll perhaps look at a different guest for the week after. Trying to get lots of different people on the show. Try and cover as many different angles as we can. And it's just always nice to chat to people about things. And I see, Fleetwood, you've got some Lego videos come out. I can't remember what they are now. I've just been watching so many videos the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying those, Fleetwood. So yeah, oh, you'll be home then. Yeah, because you kind of live in 2 places now, don't you? Is yours and your girlfriend's house? So don't forget also, we're going to be giving, the Mustang, that's it. We're going to give Adrian's show another go. I've been teaching Adrian how to do his own show. So, if all goes well, this Friday will be the last of his Terminator show on my channel, and then the week after, Adrian will be running the show on his channel. Now he knows how to set up all the live streams and everything. Saturday we're doing the Ori, and I'm quite excited now because I think that's coming along really, really nice. So we did some soldering last week to do. This is just in case you didn't get to see it. And I kind of surprised myself. We came up with an idea to put the slip ring into the sun. So you see, I've buried it into the bottom. And my soldering of the LEDs. Yeah, I'm rather proud of myself on that one. That's, for me, that's really... sorry, Trevor, I've just read that joke. It was actually funny enough to put me off my track. So yeah, so that, I think that's rather neat soldering for me. It's quite interesting going back a year ago. I really could not solder to save my life, and I'm not of a professional standard now, but I'm a hell of a lot better than I was, so I'm rather pleased. Preview of the next issue. I'll show you this because we did go through it earlier on. I don't know if you can see it that well, but we've got a piece of framework, metal framework, that's going to be coming in, and that's going to cover about half of the top deck. So we're going to assume that issue 75 is going to be the other half. So that whole top, where the seats, we're finding they're quite flexible. Oh yeah, your jokes are terrible, but quite good. So yeah, so if you remember when we did the bottom chassis, that really added a lot of strength. So I'm expecting this top, can we call it a top chassis? Is that such a thing? So we're going to add these, I assume, 2 bits of metal, and that's going to add a hell of a lot of weight. It had a lot of weight and a lot of strength. So I'll just quickly go through these jokes because they are actually quite good. So Trevor Rodway says, every day I get hit by the same bike. It's a vicious circle. A vicious cycle, sorry. And Fleetwood J's telling us that the Lego piggy bank next week. That one I'm looking forward to. A little piggy bank. And the Lego space rocket. And then the Aston, is that Lego DB5, is it? And then Love Minis has bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day. That was terrible. So, do you have anything to add then, Adrian?
No, I think you said everything.
Right.
So I was going for a playlist, that's all.
No, that's fine. So, I might as well take advantage then and have an early night if no one has an objection. The Lepin Aston Deep. Good, I'll be really interested in that because I've seen YouTube videos where people have compared the Lepin to the Lego, and they've actually been quite mean in their comparisons. And I've only done the one Lepin build, and that was I think it was the Beetle, and I love it. The only thing I found was the instructions are a little bit more condensed, because obviously to save time they've got the same instructions but more instruction on each page. The bricks are a slightly lower quality and they haven't got the Lego logo, but they fit together really well. And like I say, the stickers are a little bit thinner. What I've been told is if you want to peel off the Lego stickers, you can, but the Lepin stickers, you know, they're like thin paper, and if you try and peel them off, you'll destroy them. But I've got absolutely no issues with Lepin at all. Oh, I like that, Love Minis. Did you know the first French fries weren't actually cooked in France? They were cooked in Greece. But I assume that's Greece double meaning. I think that's really good. Yeah, Mustang was Lepin and that was amazing. Yeah. I mean, some people out there are purists and they'll only go for Lego. I've decided I'm saving up for the Millennium Falcon. A few months back, I got ripped off by a Facebook ad. I've come to the conclusion I got ripped off. It's the old rule: if something's too good to be true, it probably is. And they advertised at a flash sale or something. Millennium Falcon, 36 pounds. Now the full Lego version is pushing £1,000, and the Lepin version is 250 quid. So obviously for 36 quid I kind of thought that wasn't going to happen, but so I've lost money on that. But it's kind of got me wanting the Millennium Falcon, so I've decided I'm going to save it. I mean, I've got so many things I'm saving up for, so I don't know when I'll get it, but I'm going to get the Millennium Falcon. I'm going to get the lighting kit, and I'm also going to get the landing bay for it, so that's going to be quite exciting. And who knows, I might even take it all apart again and then lend it to somebody else so they can build it. So yeah, no, Love Minis, you are on fire today. What was that joke I told customers the other day? Oh, there was one I told on Monday. Some guy thought that was hilarious. No, can't remember it. Yeah, to be honest with you, to try and buy an £8,000-9,000 Lego kit for £36, really, when you think about it, I was a bit stupid to even go for it. So the reason I'm not complaining too much is if you add the cost of my Beetle and the cost of the Millennium Falcon that I didn't get, I've still spent less money than the Lego version of the Beetle, so I'm still up. So yeah, just chalk that down. And I keep seeing these adverts pop up on Facebook, and I'm just looking at them now, and I'm going, I really want that, but no, I won't get my fingers burnt twice. Right, so yeah, hi Kevin. We're actually now finishing the stream, so I do apologize unless you got any questions. So but I don't feel quite so stupid if someone else has been ripped off as well. Two antennas met on a roof, fell in love, got married. The ceremony wasn't much, but the reception was excellent. Yeah. Oh, I like that. If a child refuses to sleep during nap time, are they guilty of resisting arrest? Yeah. Yeah. That's it. It was one is about what's the opposite of if con is the opposite of pro, then does that mean congress is the opposite of progress? Which I thought was a clever play with words. Right, guys. So I have no jokes for you, which is a real shame because I've been coming up. I haven't come up with that many, but there was one. I can't remember. Oh well. So, but yeah, right. Okay, guys. So I'm going to end the show now. Then, be a nice change to be in bed by 10. Right. When I contacted the bank, they couldn't do anything because it hadn't been so many days. But I'm just not overly worried. So yeah, I'll just put that down to bad experience. Right, guys. So thank you so much for watching. At least next week we're going to be doing something slightly different. We may not have a lot to do, but you know, Hachette. Sometimes it looks like we're only going to get one piece. You know, then they give us lots of pieces. So who knows what we're going to get next week in addition to our upper chassis, as I'm going to call it. So I'm going to say goodbye, and then I'm going to let Adrian close the show.
Good night, all.
Right.
Hope so, see you again sometime.
Have you had a good time, Adrian?
Yes, thank you.
Will you come again if we ask you?
Certainly. Well, if you're not working, If you're
Well,
working, you have to. Right.
you know, yeah. I mean, you never know. We might get 400 emails saying, "Please don't put Adrian on the show again." You know, and we have to listen, don't we? No,
Of course.
I seriously doubt it. Um, yeah, well, I've enjoyed your company, Adrian. So, right, guys. So, take care, everyone. Dave says just said thanks, everyone, for a good night stream. And Peter Whitlock says bye all. So, yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. So, take care, guys, and I'll see you next week.